All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Tuesday evening virtual meetup because we're literally all over the country. Today we're going to talk about flipping, which most of our clients are not doing, but you might decide after this that you should be doing it. So I've got an example property that actually me and a client of ours are actually partnering on to do a flip together. So we're going to kind of go over how we ran the numbers, how we found the deal, and how we kind of analyzed everything together on that in a real flip scenario that we are actually in the process of purchasing right now. So, okay, let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So can everybody see my screen here all right? It's our trusty friend Zillow, which seems to be a trend in all of these meetups. We just go to Zillow for everything. All right. So this is the property that Brett actually found himself off market. It's actually through an agent, but just kind of had this as like a pocket listing, except for he actually owns the property. So Brett was talking to him, asking him if he had anything, said he had this property. This is an older listing. We can see the photos and everything in here look far better than what it actually looks like now. This was actually just a Section 8 rental that they absolutely tore to shreds. And it definitely does not look like this anymore. It actually had all the copper plumbing still out of it at one time. So yahoo. All right. So first of all, I kind of want to go over how we found this deal, right? So the market is super tough right now. Obviously, I do the best I can with trying to help everybody find deals and everything. However, the best deals are the ones that you can source yourself, right? And I totally understand that not everybody can go out there and door knock and wholesale and send mailers and text message campaigns and poll lists and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not doing that yourself, you are leaving some meat. You're taking some of the profit for yourself, right? Because wholesalers are typically going to find a property off market. Those are generally going to be your best deals, but they're going to add 10, 15, $20,000 on top of what they have it in contract for, right? That you're immediately going to have to pay them for finding the deal, right? Which is fine. But just understand that when you do that, your margins are automatically gonna tighten and gonna narrow. So the way that we found this deal was kind of just networking, just asking this agent if he had anything else, because we know he does a lot of investment properties, and I'm not a huge fan of this agent. He does some pretty terrible, shifty things and some shifty properties. But that was just kind of my first recollection. I didn't even want to go see this property because I knew who the agent was, but I'm definitely glad that we did. But that's how we found this deal. We've actually found a couple deals since then, just on the same street, just from being at this property. And Brett was going around like knocking on doors. Now that he knows this street a little bit better, he knows the comps well. I told him to narrow in on his area because he was looking all over the Cincinnati market. I'm like, dude, you got to like specialize in one area that you really believe in, because you're all over the place with these mailers and stuff like that. And I actually sold a property, a duplex, literally across the street from this property back in 2021 to a client that we just finished renovating and everything after moving a Section 8 tenant out and all that kind of stuff. On this street in particular as well. So this property is actually in Norwood, which is one of our favorite areas, one of our go-to. And one thing I like about Norwood is this section right over here is super close to Oakley. Oakley is like A+ neighborhood. Like, you're not making any money there, right? It's kind of jumped over 71, is super nice over here, and has started to jump over 22. This is Montgomery Road right here, up into this area. So there's a couple houses on this street. If we can go into street view on here, that we're like, okay, this looks pretty great. Yeah, the garage door is broken on this one. But there's like, this house has newly been redone. This house has been redone. This house has been redone. And Google Street View is absolutely your best friend, especially when you're in California. This is the one that I sold. It's a duplex that sold. We sold it for 170, already appraised for 180 back in 2021. But there's a couple nice houses on here. You can see it's mostly street parking on here. And, you know, this house is kind of small, but pretty cute. You know, it doesn't look like the hood, right? You don't see people, you know, hanging out on their front porches and things like that. You know, that's, for me, that's how I can kind of tell an area. You want to see some houses that are reasonably fixed up when you go to Google Street View, right? So first thing I want to do when we are going through and looking at a flip property is, we know that they're calling this 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1748 square feet, right? We have no idea if that's actually true. We could go to the auditor site, try to figure it out. Let's just assume that the Zillow listing here is correct and see what comps there are, right? So Zillow does this really fancy thing, and it will give you comps down here, right? So you can click on this little map thing, or you can scroll in and out of it. This is a fairly decent place to start. Now, this is an older listing, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to pull comps, because they're going to pull stuff that's around the Zestimate here, which is like 70 grand, or the assessed value here is what it is. No Zestimate, but the assessed value. So they think this house is kind of worth 80 grand. That's not the case, but they do have this one in here, which I believe was actually one of our comps. This is right on Sherman, right around the corner. They definitely did this as a flip. We can see here through the pictures, like granite countertops. And when I go through and when I look at comps to kind of determine the ARV, when you're flipping, it's all about the finishes, right? If you want this price, you have to have these finishes at a minimum, right? So
Hey, Mitch,
we're talking stainless steel appliances here. Yeah.
I can't see the.
Oh, you can't see it?
What you're sharing, but I don't know. Maybe it's just mine. Can other people see?
I can see
We can see it over here.
Yeah.
You guys can all see? Okay, it must just be mine. Sorry
Uh-oh.
to interrupt.
No, you're good.
If you're on a
yeah, I'm
phone,
not
you
sure
might
what's
need
going
to swipe it.
Oh, yeah, you might have to go over to the next one, because you probably can just see all the people.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Thanks.
No, you're good. Okay, so looking at this, so kitchen is always the most important thing to me here. So we got like a nice range hood. We got granite countertop. These are like the cheapest granite. Like we do like the exact same ones, like this little speckled thing. They're granite. They're the cheapest ones out there. Our guys normally have a deal on them. Great. Stainless steel appliance package. This is like one step up from the cheapest ones you can buy. We've got some nice, it looks like LVP flooring coming throughout here. You know, they staged it really well. We've got carpet in the bedrooms, so we know we can potentially just do carpet in the bedrooms. We've got actual tile showers through here, no tub surrounds, you know, nothing like that. But it's just simple, you know, white, black subway tile, nothing super fancy, eclectic, or anything like that. Again, carpet on the stairs, ceiling fans, nothing fancy. Again, tile in the showers, carpet in. There's a lot of carpet in here. In rentals, absolutely hate carpet. In flips, you can kind of get away with it if it's just in the bedrooms, in my opinion. You don't want it in the living area or anything like that. This one's got a garage and everything on here. They did some stuff to the exterior. It's got a nice driveway. The front door, they painted a cute color, right? So this is a fairly good comp. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So we know we're somewhere around the 278. However, this one is quite a bit larger. So we're at like 1,700. This is like 2,200. So we're like 500 square feet more. And they got 278 back in December of 22. So just a couple months ago. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. And let's see what other comps Zillow gave us, because I feel like this one's a little high because this one is definitely quite a bit larger. So here's another one. This is on the same street. I think this is right across the street from it, actually. Or no, it's just down the street a little bit. 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1,700 square feet. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, so it's nice. It's kind of brown. Okay, we got some natural wood. We got some hardwood floors. That's kind of nice. The paint color is straight out of the 90s. Not so great. Oh, we got natural cheap cabinets, non-stainless steel appliances. We got laminate countertops. Yes, this is not going good so far. I don't know what this floor is, but it hurts my retinas. Finished attic space up here. This is awesome. Right in the listing, you've got an air conditioner and ceiling fans. So you just automatically know that there's just zero airflow in this attic. Great move by the listing agent. We got shower surrounds in here. So this is like a rental grade. This would be a good like Burr ARV type thing, but we know that we can do better than this, right? It's got this nice big garage though, which is great. Ours just has the garage right in the front. So we don't have that. But the finishes on this one, I think we could absolutely blow it out of the water with a rehab on here. So those are actually two of the comps that we use. So Zillow's doing us a favor there. What do you guys feel looking at that? What do you guys feel ARV on something like this would be? Where would you put it at? I know somebody knows. I'll give you a hint. We're in between the two numbers that we that we talked about, or the two houses that we looked about. So we had this one on Sherman for 278. That was 500 square feet bigger, some nice finishes and everything. And then we had this one over on Elm for 239. That was like not redone at all. Where would you guys put ARV on this one?
Yeah, maybe like 265.
Yeah, totally. That's like exactly we ran our numbers in a couple of different scenarios. So when it comes to flipping, you kind of almost want to do worst case scenario. We actually said, okay, what if our ARV was 240 at the beginning, right? With where the market's at, what's happening, it's going to take us, 4 to 6 months to get this thing done, right? Potentially. This one sold 6 months ago for 240. We actually said, hey, let's run our numbers in an ARV of 240. Looked at some other comps and we're like, I think we can still be really, really conservative at 250. So for all intensive purposes on this one, we are going to say that this one is 250. I definitely think if we do the right finishes and finish it right, that we could definitely get above the 265. But you don't want to overestimate on a flip. If anything, you want to be kind of conservative and overestimate, because it's just all about margin on here. And if you have margin at conservative numbers, in your mind that that's a good deal. And we'll go over in a little bit on how you can tell that something is a good deal. Any questions on determining ARV and just comps? You guys do this all the time. Okay. So now we're going to go. So we know what our ARV is. We got that at 250. So I'm just going to write that down. 250 is our ARV. Okay. Now we got to go out and figure out from these pictures, maybe they sent us more updated pictures. Maybe we're just assuming that this place actually looks like this, right? So looking on the outside, looks okay. It's got some new siding. Garage door looks okay. Maybe clean up the siding here, paint the deck, new front door, get rid of that stupid storm door. This I like to call the party patio. This is a huge selling point. Like, it's pretty awesome. Just right above the garage, get rid of this chain link fence on here. It just looks trashy, right? Do some nice railings and everything up here. Maybe paint the floor, make sure it drains well. There's drain holes on here. Just make it look nice. Exterior looks totally fine. Coming to the interior, okay, so we know it needs paint. We know it needs a new front door. This tile is pretty horrible. It's not even, I can tell from these pictures that the grout lines are not lined up whatsoever. We've got carpet. All right, so we're just looking paint and everything in here. So this is actually this front room in here. They're considering the 4th bedroom. You can tell that kind of by the pictures, but also just walking it, I know that. It's really weird. And I kind of just, I don't like that there's a bedroom right in the front of the house. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You've got these nice big windows and just a bedroom like right off the front door. So we'll go into a little later on what we kind of decided, what we think we want to do with that. Living space, kitchen cabinets, countertops, sink, appliances, those all got to go. Like these pictures look so much better than the property actually looks right now. We've got this little nook back here where the refrigerator is. Maybe just figure out, make that a nice pantry, move the refrigerator somewhere, have a nice walk-in pantry, you know, butler's type pantry, I think would be super cool. So determining rehab on something like this, you know, I like to just go through the pictures, look through it really quickly. Okay, so we know we're going to need kitchen stuff, you know, new cabinets, new countertops, everything in the kitchen. This is the downstairs full bathroom. It's actually like right off the landing of the stairs. You can't actually tell that, but the toilet is like right here. It's at an angle also, which is really weird. This whole thing's got to go and like got to get expanded and everything. This is the upstairs bathroom, and they put the sink on the outside of the bathroom, which is super weird. There's enough room for it if you actually like use this wall for what it's supposed to be. Like there's just a lot of hodgepodge things in here. This is the third floor in the attic, which I think would make an awesome like master suite up in here. You don't need to add a bathroom. I don't like adding bathrooms and things like that. Adding bedrooms is one thing, but doing all that kind of plumbing and stuff can just be a lot. We've got some weird ceilings up in here. You know, when I'm going to go walk through the property, I'm going to make sure that somebody can stand up in there. If I can stand up at 6'6" in this area, it can be a bedroom and it is perfectly fine. This is another bedroom on the second floor, another bedroom on the second floor. Then we've got this deck. Okay, cool. The deck looks pretty nice. The backyard needs some work.
Hold on. I have a question. Sorry, Mitch. You're 6'6"?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Continue. Thank you.
Yeah, all good. So if you ever see like me in basements or attic spaces and I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work, that's because I'm 6'6". You know, maybe if you did it to like a small person, you know, rent it to like, you know, somebody 5 foot or under, maybe you can do some of these finished spaces in these Cincinnati basements, but I'm always going to tell you no, because there's no way. So looking at this deck, the deck looks okay on here. Kind of seems totally fine. You know, maybe just paint it up. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the brown. It seems fine. It looks like we need some pressure washing and stuff back here, but other than that, it looks okay. Determining, so that's what I'm going to go through at an initial walkthrough and say, you know, okay, cool. This property looks pretty decent, right? In the current state, I would estimate that you would, you know, with a flip, you're going to go a little bit above. If this is a rental, shoot, it's like rent ready. Like you don't have to do anything, right? Looking at that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I would probably spend, you know, 40 to 50 grand getting this place flipped, right? And we've got an ARV of you know, 250. It's like, damn, that sounds pretty good. You know, depending on what you can get the house for, we're not going to talk about purchase price or anything like that until the end. Actually, I don't care what they're asking for it. Your numbers have to make sense, and you have to determine the purchase price. But looking at this, it's like, okay, cool. I think this would work just fine at a $40,000-$50,000 renovation. Now I can't go to this property right now and walk it with you guys. So I'm going to go back through the pictures and tell you what it actually looked like when we walked through the property. Okay. So this garage door, when we actually walked it, is totally inoperable and somebody smashed into it. It just doesn't work at all anymore. There are no pictures of the basement or anything, but this foundation wall in this garage is collapsing inward. It's not terrible. I think it's definitely fixable, but there's some foundation issues with this garage going on, which you can't see. You got to go walk it. This deck is pretty fine. It does need a new front door. These drains are definitely all clogged. They're not draining anymore, but this pretty much looks exactly the same. Exterior here looks exactly the same. Interior here is the same. There is no, the carpet and everything is still here. So when we walked it, we're always looking, when you're walking a property, the first and foremost, especially for a flip, is how is the current layout, right? You don't want to go into a flip property where you're finagling the layout on literally the entire house, right? Where this isn't HGTV where we're gutting things and putting beams in, and they're not making money on that. They're getting paid by HGTV to go above and beyond. They're not making money. They're making money by being on TV. So we want to look at how the actual layout is right now. So this is that weird front bedroom. These windows are these windows right here that go right out to this front porch. I don't like that this is a bedroom. This radiator needs gone. It's not used anymore. There's ductwork and everything here. They just didn't want to remove it. My idea is actually to cut this down and put in French door, some type of doorway that goes right out to your party patio. I think that would be so much more useful than this weird front bedroom. And then open up this downstairs. Now we're going to have a structural engineer come out because of that garage. So he needs to tell us if we can actually remove this wall. But if we can, we'd have one big long living area. So you'd actually take this wall out here and it would flow all the way through and just one big living space down here, right? We can't take out this wall because there are stairs on the other side and then a bathroom on the other side of that. Now we might be able to open up this wall, open up the stairs, make it a little bit more inviting, maybe open up where this kitchen is so it's not so closed off by a little doorway here, but just try to get things open. When you're walking a property, you have to walk it as if you're the buyer, right? You have to know what buyers are looking for, right? Nobody wants little individual rooms, but that's what you get a lot of the times in Cincinnati, right? Now, if we can't remove this wall, we got to throw up massive beams. It's going to cost a ton, and we're just going to have to weigh our options there, right? So that other bathroom, this is actually the doorway to the stairs, and then that other bathroom is right across this doorway, right across the stairs. It's super weird. It's super tiny. There's a doorway that comes off the side of the house here that goes directly upstairs. We have to do something with that bathroom. Kitchen needs to be like totally gone, new flooring. We always typically want to run the same flooring throughout the entire house or do some decent tile. We do luxury vinyl tile, luxury vinyl plank, and carpet in flips, unless it's a super high-end flip. Again, look at your comps for comparisons. Making this a butler's pantry, putting the refrigerator maybe over here, something like that. The bathroom is on the other side of this. So figuring out what to do with this little area, if we can extend the bathroom, doing something with that so it's not so tiny. Making this maybe like a coat closet area, a sitting area, breakfast nook, something like that. But the problem is we got this window here, so that could be a little bit tricky. Again, this is where our butler's pantry is going to go. Open this up as much as we can. There's some weird built-in shelving on the other side of this wall. Just get rid of that. Just open up the entire thing as much as you can. These are the stairs to the basement, so you can't really do much there. Yeah, these are those built-ins that just maybe we throw the fridge inside here or something like that. This goes outside. Nice little breakfast nook, kitchen area, I think would be cool. There we go. This goes outside, which is great. This is that little bathroom. Gut this entire thing. See if we can make it bigger, redo everything. This has got to go inside here somehow. This is just really weird. This actually isn't a bedroom either. This is like a sitting room because the third floor door is right here. And you don't want to walk through somebody's bedroom to get to the upstairs to the bedroom. So this is just like a sitting area, bathroom area. So we might be able to take some of this stuff out, maybe make the bathroom bigger, make this sitting area smaller, something along those lines. This is that sitting room. Bathroom just needs to make more sense. I don't understand what this is. Attic area is totally fine. There's some windows up here that need to get replaced because they're just really, really, really old. There's actually an extra attic space beyond this wall that they barricaded off. I crawled through this hole when we were there, and it could make a decent closet. I definitely can't stand up in it, but I don't know why they closed off half of the attic space over here. It just doesn't make any sense. So we might try to open this up and make it like a closet or just extra storage type space. Also, when we walked the property, there's this hole in the floor here, and we could see directly down that there was knob and tube wiring all through these all through the walls and everything. So we kind of got lucky there. There are no pictures of the basement, but I'll go over that later. This is just another bedroom. Get rid of this gross drop ceiling. Get rid of these radiators that don't need to be there. Nice hardwood floors. It's got a patch in here, but nothing terrible. We could always throw carpet in here. Ductwork seems fine. The deck looks fine in these pictures. However, they didn't actually bolt it to the sill plate of the house, and most of these are failing. So repairing the deck or just totally replacing the deck added quite a bit to our budget there. So the difference, looking at the pictures, we were like $40,000 to $50,000. Okay, coming in and looking at it, there's no pictures of the basement, but the big things you want to look for are while you're walking a property, or what I look for when I'm walking a property, if you guys can't, if you're out of state, layout first and foremost. I will definitely tell you if this layout just makes no sense. It's just stupid and it's going to cost too much money to do something. Electrical is always a big expense. So in this house, we've got knob and tube wiring. That's 10 to 15 grand in electrical right there. That adds pretty much no value. Plumbing, as well. You want to look at plumbing, see if things have been repaired. So somebody actually stole all the copper out of this house at one point. So everything has been replaced with PVC, which is great. Not really sure if they did it right, but it looked okay to me. Foundation is fine. I didn't see any cracks or water or anything like that. HVAC, there is a newer furnace, but there is no central air. So we're going to have to add that as well. Roof was really hard to see. I like to go like on the other side of the street. The roof seemed fine to me. And then getting information from the agent, he said that he replaced the roof relatively recently. So those are kind of the things that I like to look for when walking a property. So we went from 40 to 50 grand in the pictures to 75,000. It will almost never go the other way. It will always go up, right? So that's why we kind of want to be conservative in our numbers. What kind of questions do you guys have on property walkthroughs and what we look for and kind of what our game plan was for something like this? All good. Sweet. And if anybody has questions, please just feel free to interrupt me while I'm talking. I can only see my screen. I can't see anybody in here right now. So got to go back. Okay, we're good. Okay. So now that we've got our after repair value, we've walked the property. We know generally what we're going to spend on this. So we're at $250 ARV, $75,000 in repairs. Right. That's to say, okay, we're going to spend 75 grand getting this house to where it needs to be, hopefully. Right. The equation that I like to use to determine what a good deal is, right? So we're trying to figure out what purchase price makes sense, right? Flipping is really easy. There's no interest rate necessarily. I mean, besides hard money and stuff like that, but there's just a really quick formula that I like to use to determine, does it make sense to throw in an offer and continue the due diligence, right? So purchase price is equal to your after repair value minus your rehab minus whatever profit you want to make, right? So on this property, our purchase price is $250,000 minus $75,000 for rehab minus 50 grand, right? I want to make 50 grand on this property. If I'm going to spend 6 months doing this, I want to make 50 grand. Now my profit numbers are going to be different than what your guys's are. Again, because we found this deal off market. We also own the construction company and I can also list the house for free. Right. So it's a little bit different, but my initial numbers, I want to see a 50 grand profit on here. Right. You guys might be okay with 40 or 30. I wouldn't go below that on a flip unless it was like a flip that was like a $20,000 rehab and was just going to be super quick. Right. So that brings our purchase price that I'm okay with throwing an offer in at $125,000 on this price on this house. Right. That's actually what we have it under contract for. Ideally, I would kind of like a little bit more meat on the bones there. 50 grand is like my personal minimum. You have to decide what your personal minimum is as far as your time and everything like that. And if you're out of state, especially if you're investing with us from out of state in Cincinnati, you have to keep in mind that this is a totally passive investment for you, right? Like, yes, you're a part of the decisions and things like that, but you're not here swinging hammers. You're not managing crews. You're not doing the listing yourself. For me, it eats up a lot of my time. That's why my profit needs to be higher for things to make sense on stuff like that. So we got it in contract for $125,000. Now that we have this wrapped up in contract, if you guys have ever worked with me before, you know how I like to negotiate on inspections. So we're doing hard money on this property. So my partner's doing all the financing, all the money. He's bringing all the money and everything. We're bringing all the work and the experience. Somebody got a question? I don't want to talk over anybody. Oh no, he just all good. Okay. On there. So now we've got it in contract for $125,000, accepted contract. The seller was cool with that, right? We aren't doing a full tic-tac, inspection where we're going to have everything listed out, because I just don't care. I don't want to pay for that, right? We're going to like gut the entire house anyways and fix anything that needs to be fixed, right? So the way that we did inspections is we're doing a structural engineer. I'm going to walk it with my structural engineer to look at that garage and the rest of the house, and he's going to tell me what walls we can take down and stuff like that. My electrician is also going to walk it, let us know kind of a quote on what he thinks electrically needs to be done. That way we know what's going on there. We're going to get a sewer scope because I don't have x-ray vision, and this is Norwood, and this house was built in like 1900 something. And who knows what the sewer looks like. Norwood's notorious for having really messed up sewers. They had major backups a long time ago. We want to make sure that sewer is good because I can't see it with my eyes, right? And then we're going to walk it during the inspection and just try to create a greater scope of work while we're there as well. So we're having our contractor, which is just us, walk it as well and just sort of tighten up those numbers and see what's happening. And if you're a client of ours, that's what we would do for you. That's what I would do for you at your inspection, is sort of gather up all of those numbers and determine this is what I feel confident in we're gonna spend, right? If you're working with us on the contracting side, everything up until you close, everything will be, you'll deal with me or Tony. And then once you close, you'll get passed off to Brandy, who manages all of our projects and everything. Then that's when you'll get your itemized quote and all that kind of stuff. We do not do itemized quotes or anything like that until you close. We just don't have time to do that. And I'm pretty accurate with my numbers. So all good there. So that's how we structured this deal. That's kind of where we're at right now. So we're just going through the financing process. We've got inspections on Thursday. So this is a real life deal. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this real quick and come back into here. So that's my flip example. That is real. We should have that closed here in a week or two, something like that, if inspections go well. What kind of questions do you guys have? I just want to open it up to general flipping questions, things that I didn't cover, or just real estate in general.
A math question for you on flipping, Mitch.
Yeah.
You use the example of 250 as the value after rehab.
Yep.
How do you take off the kind of the transaction fees of what, you're in a different situation than the rest of us would be in. So are you kind of taking 10% off the math because of real estate agent fees and other kind of fees involved and just easy math? So you take 10% off and then you're left at 225.
Yep.
You work your math from there. Is that kind of the cleanest way of doing that? Yeah.
So what I would do so I use that formula for clients as well. You just kind of have to bake it in what your profit is for your fees, right? So if you really want to make 30 grand or whatever it is, maybe you got to have an initial of 50, right? Because you're going to have all those fees down. And that way you can do it more quickly. But with real estate fees and everything like that, so we will help you determine ARV, all that kind of stuff, right? We will help you determine rehab cost. You need to determine what profit you want, right? I will also subtract 7% of the ARV for selling fees, right? That's 6%, 3% to the buyer's agent, 3% to the listing agent, and 1% in closing costs, right? So you'll subtract 7% of that ARV also in that formula. That's going to get you a little bit more succinct numbers as well. And then if you're using hard money as well, you will want to get a quote from your hard money lender on exactly what their fees are going to be, what their draw fees are going to be, and kind of bake that in as well for something of this purchase price. So 125 plus 75, around that 200-ish mark or so. I'm gonna in my brain, I'm gonna say I'm gonna pay 10 grand in hard money fees right off the top if I'm doing hard money, which we are on this one. So
Okay.
that's how I factor that in. But you can get a hard money quote from your lender that says these are what the fees are going to be to get this closed.
Sure. All right. Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks. What other questions do we got? Nobody asked a question. I'm going to call on somebody. It's going to be like school.
So are you seeing, is there a lot of opportunity for flips in Cincinnati right now? What's the market like?
I am seeing a ton more flip opportunity. Okay, so to put numbers in perspective. So I've been doing real estate since September of 2020, right? We've had our construction company almost since then, right? Up until this spring, we have done one flip for a client. And it was a $700,000 house, and one of our wholesalers bought it. They bought it for $375,000. We put $215,000 into it, and they sold it for $700,000. Okay, that was the one flip we did 2020 to 2022. Just this spring, we have done. Sean and Melissa have a flip going on right now. Those same wholesalers have 3 flips going on right now in Cincinnati. We're looking at this one for partnering with one of our clients for ourselves. And I've probably sent out at least 5 decent flip opportunities through the email list and everything as well, since the beginning of the year. That's like octuple what we saw over the last few years, because people were paying, I call it pro forma pricing, is kind of a commercial term, but they were paying top dollar for houses that were not fixed up at all, right? It was just absolutely insane, which is what we're seeing in multifamily right now. But regardless, so there is definitely opportunities to be flipping, right? And the title of kind of this meetup is, should I be flipping, right? I'm Mitch, I'm a buy and hold investor. Why the heck would I want to flip, right? So I'm not going to answer that question. Sean and Melissa, I want you to answer that question. Why did you guys, as buy and hold investors initially, why did you guys decide to take on a flip opportunity?
Because you told us to. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
You're not wrong. But
No, yeah, you definitely suggested it. So the reason why we decided to do a flip was because initially our plan was to get like a duplex or a triplex, multifamily, and we're going to use hard money. And we just kept coming up short. It's our first one. So we're looking at, 11, 12% interest on the hard money loan itself. So that was, making things go high as well. Mm-hmm. So there were a few really good opportunities that I think you had other clients end up snagging up, that we, try to go through the process of okay, what do the numbers look like for us, yada, yada, yada. And just for that initial down payment, I think one of them, we would have had to have $80,000. And it was no, we don't have that, just stuffed in our back pocket. So then the Horde came up. That's our flip. It's named the Horde. Yeah. And Mitch called Sean and was like, hey, I know this is not, what you guys initially planned, but I think this could be good for you. Because then the money you get from this, you can then buy your multifamily that you were initially trying to get. So that made sense. So we trust Mitch. And so we were like, all right, let's do it. So we used it
on the worst house we've ever seen. Oh man. Yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, and that's exactly why I feel like everybody should always be looking for flips, right? Is you guys had money in the bank, but what you really wanted, you couldn't quite afford, right? You were looking for a higher end multifamily that you could kind of maybe do midterm rentals on, right? In nicer areas, better tenants, that kind of stuff, you know, still rehab and everything. You're like, dude, we need like $80,000+ down and we're going to be sucked dry. Just
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, it's like, that's probably not the greatest idea in the world, right? So this opportunity came up and you're like, cool, let's build up our funds to this flip, right? Let's make some money on this flip. And then we can go and put that into a multifamily property, right? And you guys weren't even thinking like, well, you're just like, well, we'll just take this cash and go put it into a multifamily. But I remember talking about it on the phone. It's, well, you guys can flip it and do a 1031 exchange into a multifamily property with these profits that you took, adding in your additional funds and everything, and you will pay no taxes on that. Right? It's what you wanted to do anyways, is just do the flip to get to the point that you wanted to, right? And then go from there, you know?
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah. For reference, they bought a 3-bed, 2-bath house in Northside from Probate. It was a hoarder house, and the guy died in there and was in there for like 4 days. It looks beautiful now. We got it all cleaned out. $10,000 in dumpsters, and yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And
They're very
it's
trusted.
also actually 2.5 bath. After they cleaned all the crap out, they found like a little, just like a little cubby with a toilet in the basement.
In the basement. Yeah, I call that a Cincinnati toilet. Yeah, the emergency toilet in the basement. Yep. I remember hearing about that. Like, oh, there was so much stuff. We had no idea there could be another bathroom in the basement.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, and that's my opinion is if there's an opportunity that comes up for you guys to put your money somewhere where you can make money, and that happens to be a flip, like, yes, you're a buy and hold investor, but you can take those funds and 1031 them into, you know, something bigger, something better, you know, or just start stacking cash, right? You don't want your money's depreciating every single day it's sitting in your bank account, right? It's got to go somewhere, you know, and if an opportunity arises, the numbers make sense to everybody, then go for it, you know. That's how I feel about it. So what other questions do you guys have?
Mitch, it's Matt again. Are you seeing issues with trying to sell a flip? Like, is the market slower now just because the interest rates are higher and it's harder to offload stuff? Or are they still moving pretty quick on that end of it?
So quick. So what I like to look for in a flip is something that's still, the ARV is still affordable, right? So we did a flip in Montgomery, and Matt, you're familiar with where Montgomery is. That was it. We listed that for $720,000. Would I do that right now? No, because that's luxury for Cincinnati. That's a very nice house, and it was just like a normal house in the suburbs, right? I like things under $400,000 ARV, $350,000 ARV, because that's considered the more affordable, right?
That's kind of a sweet spot right now.
Yeah, absolutely. First-time home buyers don't care what their interest rate is. They just want to stop renting, right? So that first-time home buyer house is absolutely, I see that's anything under $250,000. That will sell like that. Then you have kind of the, you know, higher end first-time home buyers or kind of step-up home buyers, right? That's your $250,000 to $400,000, $350,000. Those are still flying off. We still have no inventory. So people are fighting over inventory. My wholesalers, they bought a house for $100,000. We put 16 grand into it, listed it for 174.9. And we are pending right now at $190,000 with multiple offers.
What neighborhood?
Westwood.
Okay.
Like West Side, like right off Glenway. Like it's a nice, quiet little street and everything. It's a cute little, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, nothing fancy about it. We just tore up the pink carpet and everything, and that thing went quick because it's in that price range and there's just nothing there. So yeah, absolutely. That's why I like flipping right now, is because if you do better finishes better finishes and ask the same price, your house will sell before all the other ones on the street that are sitting there for a while. And even that, we're just not seeing things sit there for a while. We did a meeting on Saturday, kind of talking more about the market, and inventory is down. Purchase prices are up still, right? But interest rates are way up here, you know. Things are still going crazy. Days on market is still like 5 as opposed to 3, as it was. Average sale price is still around it's about $280,000 in the greater Cincinnati area. That's all 4 of the counties around Hamilton County, including Hamilton County around there. So I like to be right at that median price or so, and those things will just fly.
Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. What other kind of questions do you guys got? Nothing. No more questions. I got 10 more minutes I got to fill. Last time we went over like 30 minutes talking about multifamily. So, yeah.
Matt or Mitch, I just got one. Any advice for someone just getting into it, just getting started?
Don't get analysis paralysis, but know your numbers. So, Chris, I will, I'll send you the link to the other 2 meetups. So we went and we analyzed multifamily BRRRR properties last week. The week before that, we analyzed single family BRRRR properties. That's kind of our bread and butter, is the buy and hold type stuff. Obviously, we're talking about flips today, but if you are just getting into it, know your criteria is the first thing, right? Know what you want out of an investment. And maybe you and I need to have a call to kind of determine that and get into it and figure out what your criteria is, what your goal is, and what you want to do with your investments, right? I know people who just flip, right? They just love flipping. I don't want to deal with tenants or anything like that, right? It just depends on your goals, right? But know your criteria is absolutely number one. In my email chain, when I onboard a new investor and everything, the second automated email that goes out is, hey, let's develop your crystal clear criteria, right? Let's make this thing crystal clear and narrow it down, and really look, within reason, and really look for deals that meet that criteria. And I take it as my job to really hold people to their criteria, right? Don't be going willy-nilly. You said you wanted a single family and now you're looking at 3, 4, 5 units and stuff like that. No. We're not doing that, right? You chose that for a reason, but know your criteria. Absolutely.
Okay.
So Chris, are you local to the Cincinnati area?
Yeah, I actually live in Hartwell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, you being local, everybody else except for Matt, is out of state. That's most of our clients are out of state. So you have a huge advantage by being able to actually see these properties with your own eyes, right? Potentially manage projects yourself if you want to, all of those kind of things, right? And you probably know the areas pretty well in Cincinnati. You kind of know what the purchase prices are. And if you don't, you haven't analyzed enough properties yet, right? You got to do like 100 of each type to have any idea of what it is. And the more succinct you are on different neighborhoods that you really like you really like Norwood, you'll know Norwood like the back of your hand pretty soon, right? Or if you really like Westchester, one of the suburbs up there, right? You'll dig in deep and you'll know every street. And eventually what you want to be able to do with flipping and even buying holds is the comps that you're comping to are the houses that you have sold. Right. So what your comps are because you just sold those houses, because you just flipped them right next to each other. Right. It's how Chip and Joanna Gaines own all of Waco, Texas, is because they create all the comps for themselves. Right. And, that's the goal for me, at least, is to just be the expert in a neighborhood.
Awesome.
So awesome. You got a huge advantage by being in a great market to do this stuff with. And, you don't have to live in California. So, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. You have any other questions I can answer for you?
Not at this moment. Definitely interested in seeing the first 2 meetups you guys had, and definitely, possibly scheduling a call with you, to get started and kind of working that stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go on YouTube and just Huffman Real Estate Group, that's our YouTube channel. Both of the meetup videos are on there. I think April 11th and April 18th or something like that. They're all titled. The little screen thing looks exactly the same for each of them. You do not have to. You could speed it up and watch it 4 times speed if you need to. One's an hour, the other one's an hour and a half for multifamily. So go definitely check those out.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll text you in our group. We could schedule a time to call as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions, guys, before we get this wrapped up? Sweet. I think we're all good. So hopefully this kind of helps you answer the question on should you be flipping? The answer should be yes. You definitely shouldn't have your blinders on and just be looking at buy and hold investments, because with interest rates and the, depending on how you're refinancing, 6.5% to 8.5% interest rates, buy and holds are a little tough right now. So, continue to kind of build your war chest and build up those funds. So when rates kind of settle down a little bit or prices come down or whatever you feel is going to happen in the market, you've got the funds ready to go.
Absolutely. And thanks, Mitch, for these meetups. It really helps keep us locked in and just, finger on the pulse type of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No worries, guys. I know you guys are getting through all the mechanicals and the stuff on your flip, which is all the fun part. I did see today that you might get to choose the exterior trim color. So, woohoo.
Yeah, making
big things.
big things.
Right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, absolutely. We try to keep our out-of-state people as involved as they want to be, so that's all Brandy's doing. I don't do any of that stuff. So awesome. Well, thanks for joining the meetup and everything, guys. We will do this again next Tuesday. I'll send it out on what the topic is going to be. I have it scheduled for commercial analysis, but I don't want to do that by myself. I want to have my mortgage broker, and I want to have guests also on this show. So we might get Liz, our finance person, on, Kurt, my mortgage broker, as well as maybe just some other clients who have been doing deals and can talk to you from a firsthand perspective on those kind of things. So I'll send it out for what next week is going to be, and then we'll go from there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No
Very
worries.
cool. Thank you so much.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks, Mitch.